Our first school today is William Jewell College. It was picked to finish 8th in the conference this season. The Cardinals in 2022 were 2-9, 1-5 in league play, finishing 7th. Joining us today is interim head coach Neil Linhart, senior wide receiver Deldrionn Amos, and redshirt defensive lineman Edd Becton. Gentlemen, welcome here today to our coverage, and let's get started here this morning with the season for you guys. Coach, 19 starters for you this season, return 7 on offense. Deldrionn, sitting next to you, had solid contribution to that last season. But as you step into your new role as the interim head coach, give us your impression of the team and the general outlook for the fall.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing for me, especially from taking over right away to where we're at now, I think the biggest difference for us is just the experience factor. You know, when we got the number of guys that are returning both on the offensive side, defensive side of the ball, and particularly when you look at it, the offense and defensive lines. That's where we have a lot of guys with a lot of playing experience, and those guys had a lot of playing experience sometimes as true freshmen coming in and kind of forced to figure things out on the fly, where we're just an opportunity now where the guys have had an opportunity to play a season with us, have game experience. They've been here over spring ball and get an opportunity to continue to learn and advance the system. So that's really, for us, where the biggest impact comes from is just the experience factor. And it's not always going back to square one and teaching the game over again. It's guys that have been now put in those situations and have opportunities to see different looks. And those guys now would be a lot quicker transition as far as being able to make adjustments throughout the game for us versus how it wasn't before, where some of these guys are seeing these looks and different things for the first time. And now they've seen it, and they should have the opportunity to be able to make an adjustment on the field. And I think the other big thing for us is just the player-led leadership. Those guys have done an outstanding job from the moment that I took over. We were on the field at 6 a.m. the next morning, and everyone was there. Everyone was working hard. It's like we didn't miss a beat. And for those guys, it was a kudos to them in showing that, hey, we all have a common goal. And just because maybe there's someone else that's running the ship right now, our goal hasn't changed, and we're going to continue to elevate our level.
Coach, as I mentioned, 19 starters returned, 7 on the offense this season. Deldrionn, sitting next to you, had a solid contribution last season as he earned a spot on the All-GLVC second team last year, 10 games played, totaling 502 yards, averaging 12.5 yards per catch and 5 touchdowns. Start with Deldrionn's experience and give us a look at the rest of the offensive unit.
Yeah, so start with Dez. Obviously, Dez is a big-time contributor for us, and the expectations for him continue to grow. He's a guy that when you look back last year, when we needed a big play to happen, it was generally going into trying to get the ball into his hands somewhere. So obviously having Dez back is a huge boost for us. When you look at the offensive line, we're returning 4 of our 5 starters there. And again, going back to the experience factor, 2 of those guys started as true freshmen. And those guys now have had opportunity to play in 11 games. They went through the spring. We expect really big contributions there, especially when you look at our center, who's really taking control. He's a guy that, for him it was hey, you're a true freshman, you're getting thrown into the center spot, you make a lot of calls for us. And now for Nash Gagliano, he's a guy that's comfortable in our system. He's got everything down. He makes the calls. He's really the leader up front for us. And then at the quarterback position, we return 2 of our guys that took a majority of the snaps back there with C.J. Ward and Taylor Eggers. So those guys will again have an opportunity to continue to compete, and we'd expect to use both those guys in similar fashions, where Taylor ended up leading the team in rushing, and then C.J. was more of the passing threat for us. And then tight end, we returned senior Hunter Thomas. So he's another key contributor, and he's honestly one of the smartest guys on the field for us. So he does a great job. We give him the ability to do a lot of different things, whether it's moving himself or really taking control of and kind of be that mediator between the skill position and the offensive line to making sure that everyone's on the same page. And then running back will be a position where Keandre McCullough, he ended up getting hurt for us early in the year last year. And he's a guy who we have really high expectations for, and he had a great fall camp last year. Unfortunately, had an injury and wasn't able to compete in very many games, but he's a guy that's coming back for us as well that we feel really good about.
Thank you, Coach. Deldrionn, give us your take on both your individual performance last year and goals that you may have set for this year, as well as your assessment on the team as things get underway next week.
Well, one of my main goals is just being the number one receiver in GLVC and being a leader to the freshmen coming in, since we have a lot of freshmen coming in.
Thank you, Deldrionn. Coach, on the defensive side of the ball, you returned 9 starters, including Edd and linebacker Sean Mitchell, who were both second-team All-GLVC honorees last year. Talk about the group and how they will work to limit your opponents this fall.
Yeah, I think you got to start there when talking about the defensive line. Obviously, we got Edd here, but starting talking about the defensive line in general. We had Cody McKimmons, who's coming in, or who's coming back. He missed all of last year with a back injury, and we got quite a few other guys, whether it's Justin Endicott, Preston Sneed, all who have a lot of playing experience, and both, again, those two guys had played as true freshmen and played through their sophomore year. Justin's going to be a sophomore this year. So, again, a younger group a little bit there, but at the same time, those guys have a lot of experience. And obviously we got Edd here to, kind of rally the defensive line and get those guys going. And you look at the linebacking core, we return again. A vast majority of the starters. We're only missing one of the starters there from last year. Expect really big things out of guys like Tavares Albury, Adam Callahan, and then Jake Hedrick as well. So those guys have a great job of understanding what our defense is, how they fit within that philosophy, and those guys fly around and play fast, and that's what our defense allows those guys to do. And then when you look at the secondary position, we got Quasey Hooks coming back. He's a corner for us. Had a couple interceptions, had one return for a touchdown. Sean Mitchell, obviously, second team, GLVC. He had a touchdown on defense as well on a scoop and score. So he's another guy that Sean's really done a great job of leading our defense. And he's a vocal leader for us, and he does a good job of making sure, especially in the back end, we ask those guys to do a lot as far as making checks. He's really the vocal leader back there and gives us the opportunity to be successful.
Edd, tell us how you've been preparing for the off season and what you're looking forward to most this season.
Yeah, so for us, it's been a lot, especially.
That was Edd.
Oh, sorry. I jumped the gun. I didn't get an Edd in there.
We've been preparing for the off season pretty hard. I work with my teammates a lot, putting in the extra work. And what was the second question?
Oh, just what you look forward to most coming into the season.
Our team actually succeeding in completing the mission that we have at hand.
Thank you. Coach, briefly give us a little preview of your schedule coming up.
Yeah, so we start off with Fort Lewis. That'll be September 2nd. For us, we got an exciting time on campus for us. We're in the process of building a brand new stadium. We're building a brand new athletics complex as well, so we're going to be playing our games at Liberty North this year. But we open up with Fort Lewis. After Fort Lewis, have Kentucky Wesleyan, a team that we played the last couple years. Then we have a bye this year, and then we get into Davenport University, where we'll head up there to make that trip. And then for us, it's getting into the GLVC conference.
Excellent. Coach Deldrionn, Edd, thanks so much for joining us here on GLVC SN, and best of luck to your team this season.